Yes, guys, good evening and welcome to Cardiff City World. I am all on my own tonight because Simon's not very well. Rhys David Evans is out celebrating his birthday, so many happy returns, Rhys David Evans. Hope you have a good evening, my friend. And Mr. Rob Boyle is still not with us. Internet issues and family commitments, so still waiting for the big man to return. So you're stuck with my ugly mug, only for a short time tonight. We won't keep you too long. We'll be here for 20 minutes, half hour, depending on how busy the chat gets, to discuss all things Cardiff City. Obviously, the massive game we've got coming up on Saturday versus Stoke. 3 p.m. kickoff at Cardiff City Stadium. I think we've said the last God knows how many games. There's, it's a must-win game. There's another cup final, but yeah, fed up of saying it now, to be honest, because they're all must-win games, isn't they? But yes, be interesting to see how many tickets are sold for Saturday. I did see something out on social media today saying that the club are giving away 1,000 tickets to local schools. I think we've said that a few times over the last few shows about things that the club can do and initiatives they can put in place to try and get some bums on seats. So it's good to see that something has happened. How many of those 1,000 tickets will get used, I'm not sure. But again, if 5-10 families come through the door and a little one gets hooked, then it's job done in my opinion. And again, it's vitally important, I think, Saturday that we create an atmosphere. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be cagey, I think. But who knows? Like I said, bums on seats, create a bit of noise, and get some future Bluebird fans sat in seats. And you never know. I think we need all the help we can get Saturday. And if we can create that by creating an atmosphere early doors, then happy days. So yeah, like I said, guys, I'm only here for short 15, 20, 30 minutes tops. I've got to be up nice and early for work in the morning. So yes, as I mentioned, Sai's been a bit rough last couple of days. So he's taken a bit of a rest. And yeah, so he's stuck with my ugly mug. So lots of people in the chat already. I will dive into the chat and say good evening very shortly. But yeah, Perry NG apparently is back for Saturday. I'm not sure how many people have seen the Omar Rita press conference from today. But NG's back. I think the only other one he talked about was Al Ghazi. He hasn't trained at all this week, but I don't think at the moment that's a great loss to us. Wasn't available at the last game, so that's that. I think he said Reno hasn't trained because of the issue with his back. I think he's planning on training tomorrow. He's going to assess how he is tomorrow, but I would imagine Perry NG will come straight back into the side. Some interesting points during that press conference. He mentioned about Gutas and maybe his drop in performance and things, and how he had to change it at half time by bringing Gutas off last week. Interesting, a couple of interesting points as well around Mété, and in my opinion, when I listen to it, I think Mété's not happy maybe about the amount of football he's playing. But in fairness to Riza, he said Mété's acting as a true professional. His attitude is spot on, and he's doing what's asked of him. When he comes onto the pitch, type of thing. So, you can't knock him. You can understand him maybe being frustrated at not playing much. But again, he's at the end of the day, he's there to do a job. So he's getting paid to be a professional, isn't he? So, right, let's dive into the comments. Anything you want to chat about and discuss, chuck it in the comments, guys. Phil Jones, what? No rant by Rhys? No, he's not here this evening, mate. He binned me off to go out for a meal with family and friends. So, yes, Rhys will be back with me on Saturday evening for the 1927 Club, buddy. Howell, good evening, buddy. How was your trip back from Preston? I know you travelled up, so fair play to you. Some roadworks on the way back as well. What time did I get back? But late one, no doubt. Paul, get well soon, Si. Happy birthday, Reese, and evening, Matt. Hope you're well, buddy. 2-0 Cardiff win. I like your positivity, Paul. And I think it's important that we try to remain as positive as we can for as long as we can, because I definitely think it rubs off. It's been difficult, I know. But I definitely think we need to try and remain as positive as we can be. Vincent Taylor, good evening, my friend. How are we? Hope all is well. Howell says he's dreading Saturday. If Stoke score first, we could see a split in the fan base in the stands. Need to stick together. 100% agree with that. And like I said, it's important that we try and remain as positive as we can. And excuse me, it is difficult, obviously, given the performances of late. During the press conference from today, one of the reporters did ask him about, our ability to, play well one half and not play so well the second half. And he put it down to, inconsistency in the sense of we have a lot of injuries, not being able to pick the same 11, this, that, and the other. Also referred to a question, and he referred himself to, being called a tinker man. But I think if we look at it and we be honest with ourselves, I think he's forced to make a lot of changes due to the amount of injuries and things that we've picked up and people being out with illnesses. He does go on to talk about making changes because of poor performances, and he hasn't been afraid to give, like, Gutas, for example, a bit of a break. But I think the big thing that came from me watching that press conference was him talking about, we'll see what players, how much fight the players have got now come Saturday. So it'll be a big one for me. I think we need a reaction from the players. I know we're unbeaten in 4, but obviously, given this, the circumstances we're in and the situation we're in at the moment, picking up a point it's not good enough now. We, it's not the end of the world if we do pick up a point on Saturday, because we can still do it. But I would like to try and get 3 points if we can. Phil Jones says massive 6 points versus Stoke and Oxford will give us a fighting chance. 100% agree with that, because you look at the other 3 games in Sheffield United, Good Friday, West Brom, and then Norwich. It's difficult to see where many of those other points are going to come from. Manager's body language is tough to watch at times. Not easy for the lad, but I think he has to get the lineup spot on for Stoke. But we have to attack for 90-odd minutes. Paul, I 100% agree with you on that. I don't know if it was a chat I put in the WhatsApp group in the week during the game, or whether it was in the podcast I spoke with Si pretty much straight after the game. But I thought his body language on the touchline was poor. He looked deflated. He looked beat. Even when he was walking off, his head was down. And yeah, it looked as if he looked like a man that had not given up, but was disappointed. And does that body language and thing rub off on players? I don't know. What do you guys think? Matthew Corp, good evening, buddy. Going for 1-0 Saturday. Keep the faith. Keep the faith we've got, my friend. Keep the faith we've got too. Simon, good evening, buddy. Hope all is well. John Watkins, Stoke and Oxford will fight for their lives. Our City up for it. Recent performances raised doubts. We do, mate. Well, yes, 100% agree with you on that as well. I just think, the guys have got to turn up for Stoke on Saturdays if they were turning up for the South Wales derby for me. If we turn up with the attitude that, we're playing Swansea Saturday, then I don't think we've got any issues. But it just baffles me how we can get up for one game a season against Swansea at home and then look completely off the boil for so many others. It just baffles me. Like I said earlier, they're all well-paid professionals. But how much does it really mean to them? And I think we'll find out on Saturday how much it actually does mean to a lot of the players. Vincent Taylor said, we'll be there on Saturday. Need every loyal supporter there. 100% agree with you on that, mate. I know it's difficult for a lot due to obviously prices and things nowadays, and obviously being able to watch it on certain streams and things as well. I'm not going to promote any of them, but yeah, I totally get it. But obviously, given the fight that we're in at the moment, I think if we can get as many bums on seats as we can, I'm sure it will be appreciated. By who, I don't know. But I know as another loyal fan, I think I'd appreciate as much noise and things as possible on Saturday. On that point, be interesting to see your guys' thoughts in the chat, and I will get, as you know, I work through the comments now, but obviously the last game against West Brom, they've reduced ticket prices to half price. I know they've done the initiative now with 1,000 tickets for the Stoke game, giving them to schools, but do you think they could have reduced ticket prices for the last 3 home games? And would, you know, hardened season ticket holders have been too aggrieved if that had happened? Now, for me, it doesn't really bother me. I was in a position at the start of the season to be able to afford a season ticket. A lot of people aren't in that position to buy a season ticket and only go to certain games, which I completely get given the circumstances we're in the world nowadays. But you know, it wouldn't bother me them dropping tickets to half price for the last 3 games if it meant, like I said, an extra couple of thousand bums on seats in that stadium. So I just wanted to know what other people's thoughts were on that. Graham says, yes, we're unbeaten in 4. Matthew Cope says, the lineup and formation being changed every week doesn't help. I get that, but 100% I get that. How much of that's down to injuries? Quite a lot, I would imagine. Perry and G's in and out. Darlin's been in and out. Granted, he's changed Bega and O'Dowda at times. Tanner struggled with injuries. Obviously, we've had Robertson and Turnbull injuries. Illnesses, Alex Robertson after he come back from his injury. It's been difficult, I think. I do get why they've called him the Tinker Man. I get that. But if I can defend him in any way, I think we've been really hard done by with the injuries we've had. I think, but again, then, you know, being a championship club, the games them do come thick and fast. And I think you have got a plan for those types of injuries this day and age, hence why the squads are so big. And I just don't think the current squad that we have had hasn't had that want, fight, desire enough, throughout the season. So that's my point. That's my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not going to slate anybody for having a difference in that or agreeing with that. That's just my opinion. I might be barking up the wrong tree. Probably am, but, I'm trying to stay as positive as I can. Simon says, we need to start taking advantage of these clubs around us dropping points. Up to now, I think we have only capitalised once, and that was against Blackburn. All bottom 8 to 10 clubs are fighting. It's mad how close it is at the bottom, Simon. I think I looked last night. I think up to like 15th or 16th, there's like 6 points between us. So, with 5 games left, really, the last 8, 9, 10 teams are all still in the mix of getting involved with it. So, yeah, let's just hope we can, even if we get 3 points Saturday, we're still in it. But it'll be a step in the right direction, won't it? We was very lucky last night as well. All 3 teams playing last night. Oxford lost against QPR, 3-1, I think it was. Coventry beat Blackburn 1-0. And that little team down west beat Plymouth 3-0, I think it was. So again, results went for us last night. Let's hope they go for us Saturday. I'll be there, if not in the Heath up a fucking city. Long live Cardiff City World. All hail superstar Matt the Angel. Couldn't do it without his support. Top man, buddy. It's what friends are all for, mate. It's mad though, innit, to think how far it's all come since we was watching your shows once or twice a week during COVID, and now you're producing content 7 days a week, by the fans, for the fans, mate. So that's what it's all about. And like I said, I'll do anything I can to help and support you, my friend. I wish I could do more, but unfortunately, with the demands of working 2 jobs and 3 young kiddies in the house, it can be difficult at times. So, but I'll always do what I can to help, my friend. Evening, Reese. Tad late, but we roll. 100%. Welcome to the madhouse. Matthew Corp says, has he lost the dressing room? Seems to look that way. I don't know. I wouldn't say he's lost the dressing room. There's a massive lack of confidence there for me, in my opinion. Lots of silly mistakes being made. I don't know. I wouldn't say he's lost the dressing room. I just think, we're struggling massively confidence-wise. Even Matt Howell, not too bad. Back in Ponty around 3:15. Yeah, that's a late one, but I won't tell everybody else who you're going to watch very soon, Howell. By the way, I've said that, people can probably guess you're taking a trip down the M4 to watch a certain team. Don't judge him, all guys. Don't judge him. Reece says, I wouldn't say he has. Even part player in the Yak still coming off the bench to score late on suggests to me they're still playing for him, at least somewhat. Yeah, I agree with that, Reece. Good point. Oxford and Stoke wins, but who knows what will happen. Richard Newell says, surely players should be playing to their highest standard. Surely players should be playing to the highest standard in order to impress future managers, not go around half-baked. You would like to think so, Rich, given that a lot of the players are out the contract as well in the summer. How many of the current squad are out the contract, I couldn't tell you, but I know there was quite a few. Probably need press gangs to get people to watch them lately. Matthew again says, the club did put to it to Stoke and Oxford about dropping the price, but they declined. Didn't want us to have any advantage. There we go. Thank you, buddy. Give 3,000 tickets away, and I would. Reset has come and said that players didn't do what they talked about doing. Happened in many games, so I don't know if he's lost the dressing room. This thing with Mate Day coming out. Yeah, it was interesting looking at that press conference, Paul, this afternoon, and he talked about some players disagreeing with certain things, and I think a lot of that was down to talk with Mate Day, so it'll be interesting. JT, I saw Rhys David Evans at the Sheffield Wednesday game leaving the bogs with a big smile on his face. I'm not saying anything. Howell says, personally have no issue with it. If getting an extra few thousand in the stands helps, keeps us up, happy days. Rhys again agrees with that. We don't seem to be putting the effort in on the pitch. A lot of things playing a part in that, but it has been the same story all season. No fight, no desire, nothing, apart from the Swansea game. Rhys Lasky will be there. How's I doing, in case I missed it? Yeah, he's not too bad, mate. He's got a couple of days rest, but potentially might have to have a trip into hospital. But at the moment, he's just resting up, and we're hoping that the trip to hospital is going to be avoided, shall we say, as long as he takes plenty of rest, which is easier said than done for Si, if I'm honest, because he's a bugger and he doesn't rest because he's always pottering about doing something, and yeah, he's not allowed to be. So Si, if you're still watching, stop it. Matthew said, I heard the club did request to reduce ticket prices for the Stoke and Oxford games, but those clubs didn't take us up on the offer. I think I played that one, didn't I? Yes, on that one. Tech says, imagine we stay up. Bluebird, Gogs and the scum in the same pond. Mini Welsh League. Thanks for your effort, lads. Commitment, fair play, doing these shows. Better than watching fucking EastEnders, Tech, innit? EastEnders is finished by now, but you know what I mean. This game decides whether we stay up or go down, I think. It could very well do, Ev. It could very well do, mate. I think with Good Friday as well, away at Sheffield United doesn't hold out, doesn't fill it with confidence, is it? So I think it's massive that we get 3 points on Saturday. Risa needs to work out what players are up for the challenge and stop picking favourites and don't pick partnerships like Mansverk and Chambers. That clearly isn't working. Here's a question for you, then. If you was Risa, would you pick Robertson and Turnbull to start together on Saturday ahead of the like of Mansverk and Chambers? Agree, Matt. Give the tickets to the kids. Could do with a good crowd there for the remaining home games. Jonathan says, rest upside, stop potching, or we will put you in a sleeper hold anytime you move. Just kidding. Get well soon, mate. Yeah, otherwise, if we see you walking out with your walking stick, someone's going to kick your walking stick from underneath your work. We played QPR, a good draw, and I think Preston was a good point. 2 away games, these 2 home games. Oxford and Stoke must-win games. Yeah, Vince, I'll agree with that. If we back that up with 3 points against Oxford and Stoke, they will be 2 good away points. If we don't get anything from Oxford and Stoke on Saturday, then yeah, those mean bugger all, does it? Matthew Corp, yes, Matt, I think that's in relation to starting Robertson and Turnbull. And Paul, again, says he agrees with it. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does go with Saturday. I think we'll all be eagerly glued to our phones waiting for that 2 o'clock announcement of the match day squad. It's just don't know, you with Risa and Cardiff in general, but I wouldn't be too disappointed to see Robertson and Turnbull start in that middle. I think we've got to go all out attack. For me, I would start Robertson and Turnbull in the middle. I think I'd have Alves on one wing, Davis on the other wing, Salic up front maybe, and maybe Ashford just in behind him. That's what I would go with. What the manager's going to go with, no idea. Back 4 then, I think NG will probably start now, given Reno his issue. I think Fish and Darland will both start, and I think O'Dowda will play on the left. So that would be my starting 11 for Saturday. How much of that will come out, I don't know. I think I just hope we don't try and play too negative and try and hold them first half and, chuck the youngsters on second half, open to pinch a goal type of thing. I hope we just take it to them right from the word go, because if they get an early goal, 2 goal, then we're playing catch up, and just it's not going to be a good atmosphere there at all if we go a goal or 2 down in early doors first half. So that would be my starting 11 Saturday. I don't know what people's thoughts are on that. Horvath in goals, NG right back, Fish and Darlin in the centre, and O'Dowda, Robertson and Robertson and Turnbull, Isaac Davis on the right, Alves on the left, Salic up front, and Ashford just in behind. I just think we need to be mindful then of defensive work that we would need to do to help, obviously, with the midfielders, because I wouldn't say they're both probably the strongest defenders, central defenders or central midfield defenders. Are they there for that purpose? I don't know. But I think all-out attack Saturday for me, and I think that's the way we would need to go. Yes, interesting. Be interesting to see what other people's thoughts are. Jonathan Davis says Robertson and Turnbull may need more minutes to start together. They've not long got back but at least start one of them with Manswerk or Chambers at least. Yeah, that's a good point, Bet. I wouldn't be too thing at that. But I think we're running out of minutes in general, aren't we? So is it all, do you put all your eggs in one basket type of thing? Reese agrees with you as well there. John. Paul says Robertson and Turnbull works, but they obviously can't do 90 minutes. But Manswerk for me is a problem because he's been played everywhere in midfield. Reese says, yes, I do like that team though, Matt. Our players need to get used to a single pivot and take it to teams. We need to attack. Unfortunately, we haven't done great single or double pivot. And even starting 10 defenders like last game, we can't defend. 100% spot on, but yes. Robinson is an 8, not a 10. Is Bagan fit? I think I would prefer him alongside Fish. I've liked Joe Bagan, and I think I've been quite open and honest in some of the pods that we've done, and I've really liked him, whether he's played at left back for us or where he's filled in and played at centre half. I think he's looked at different players since he went abroad, and like he signed a new contract, didn't he, just before they put him out on loan. And he's come back, and I think he's done a decent enough job for us. I think he's still a young player with still lots to learn, but I think he's only going to get better given the chance. But again, I probably wouldn't be too disappointed to see him there either, John, if I'm completely honest, mate. But I think you probably would go with Darland and Fish, if I'm honest. Risa has to get those on the wings to cross more and attack fullbacks, but more important, they have to change corners, do something different. It's not working what they're doing. Yeah, set piece wise, it's been absolutely awful. I know Ruben Colwell took over corners on Tuesday night, and we just leave it there. That's all I'm going to say about that. Felt like we've played him out of position. I think that might be related to Manswerk. Reece says, agree, Matt. His best work this season, personally, for me, is when he's played at an 8. Yeah, Bagan and Fish, probably the best 2 defenders we got. They work well together. Yes, like I said, I wouldn't be too disappointed if I seen that those 2 starting at the back on Saturday. But we will see. We will see. Couple of minutes to go on, guys. Like I said, I'm not going to keep you too long tonight. So if there's anything else you did want to mention or discuss, one thing I did want to ask a question was, there's a little village down west, then, should we say, that is well known to have, should we say, like inspirational speakers come into the changing rooms during big games, notably South Wales Derby or somebody associated to the club. I think they've had a kickman do it once. But if you could have anybody to come in and speak, other than Rhys David Evans, right? Because I think we would all like Rhys David Evans to go in and have a 2-minute chat to the first team squad on Saturday before the game. If you could pick any current, former Cardiff City, should we say, person associated to the club to go in and have 2 minutes with the current squad before kickoff Saturday, who would it be? Interesting question for you all. Jonathan Davis says, who makes it better to save Bagan or Hobart? I like Bagan before his loan. Didn't have many stinkers when given an opportunity. Would always remember the time he had his scoring run too. Yeah, didn't he score like 3 goals? I think my boy made a song up. Joel Bagan scored 3 in a week. Joel Bagan scored, he scored like 1 goal, 1 game, and then scored 2 goals against someone. So I can always remember my boy. That's going back a couple of years now. So he probably would have been about 6 or 7, jumping around the house singing Joel Bagan scored 3 in a week. But yeah, I think he's got lots of potential. Jonathan Davis, I'm guessing that's in relation to somebody going in and having a chat. Diane, is he allowed to go in now? Is he still banned? I don't know. Reece says, we struggle to find our wide men in the same sort of space other teams do against. It's often very slow and lethargic, and then we are expecting our wingers to beat their man from a standing start. We've got Graham's start inside. Hovarth, NG, Darland, Fish, Bagan, Ashford, Robinson, Mansverk, O'Dowda, Colwell, Salich and Robinson. Interesting, mate. Graham says Phil Dwyer. Andy Legg, been there, did it all at all levels, and a leader on the field as well as a very good captain. Yeah, what we would do to have somebody like Andy Legg back in the mix now. Reece said it'd be better to play it into space so they can run onto the ball, but we are really seeming to do that. Joe Ledley says Matthew, hopefully Joe Rolls and Rambo are in there too. Yeah, Joe Rolls and Rambo would probably be old. They'd be in there holding the table for Joe Ledley to dance on. Graham, apparently you've picked 12 players and you were starting 11, mate. Reece, I like your attention to detail, my friend. Good eyes. I am not checking that. I'll take your word for it. And as Graham says, it wouldn't make any difference if we did start for 12. So yeah, fair play. But guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Do put your predictions after the video is finished. Put your predictions in the comments for Saturday. I'm going for a 2-1 win Cardiff. I think we'll score early. They'll score before half time. We'll score in the 80th minute. 80th plus minute to take the win 2-1. I hope we win convincingly. We can't see that happening, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. Hopefully, most of you who've tuned in to watch tonight will be there in attendance Saturday. And then you can join me and Reece David Evans then on Saturday evening to talk about how well we've played and celebrate us winning 3 points. But like I said, thank you very much. Apologies, it's only a short and sharp one, but needs must. And I'll see all you lovely people on Saturday evening. Take care all.